Today marks 4 years since the start of the deadly and devastating Marshall Fire. Coloradans are no stranger to wildfires, unfortunately, and the more tools that we have when it comes to them, the better. And that includes some new fire investigators. These ones have 4 legs, though. We're joined by Matt Morgan with his K9 Ash, and we have Brian Everly with K9 Waffle. Thank you both so much for coming in.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
Well, they are adorable. So first, talk about the roles that K9s play in these investigations.
Well, these dogs are unique for fire investigations as they'll go into after the fire and search for ignitable liquids or anything that would accelerate a fire.
I can't imagine the training that it takes. So talk about the training that's required for both, obviously, the K9 and the handler.
Yeah, so both the dogs, right about a year to a year and a half, they'll kind of be selected to see if they're going to do this type of work. Obviously, it takes a unique personality and a dog that obviously favors their nose.
Yeah.
So the dogs go through a very kind of intense initial training that we call imprinting, where they learn what those ignitable liquids are. And for them, with arson dogs, that smell kind of equates to food. So our dogs are food rewards. So the only time they ever get to eat is when they're working. So that smell of gasoline really kind of equates to lunchtime for the dogs. So
interesting.
yeah.
Well, and clearly you're very bonded to these adorable cuties.
A little bit, yeah.
Now, how many K9 investigators are there in the state?
Currently, there's 3
Okay.
right now, but there is a long past of arson K9s.
Okay.
So to say.
And is there a specific breed that works better for fire investigators?
Absolutely. So all of the arson dogs are labs. Again,
Really?
being food reward. If
Okay.
anybody's ever had a lab, you know that they really like to eat. So that along with their nose and their ability to kind of think, right? They're working dogs, they're hunting dogs. So yeah, those all kind of combine together to make a really good arson dog.
Well, I'm food motivated too, buddy.
Aren't we all?
Right?
Yeah.
So we were seeing some of the pictures of the K9s kind of like on the scene. Talk about what work goes into it, like what it looks like when they get into a fire scene.
When they get into a fire scene, we kind of prep them for what they're going into. Us as handlers have to make sure that the environment's safe for the dogs to go in, number one. And then number 2, we get them what's called on hide, give them a little bit of whiff of an evaporated gasoline, just a couple drops to get them motivated and to go into the fire. And then once they're into the fire, if they locate something, it's called an alert. They sit down, and then we give them a command to, hey, show me what you have, and they'll kind of point their nose in the direction of where they want us to focus. We'll mark that, and then eventually we'll collect that as evidence and send it off to a lab, and then the lab would let us know what we have in that fire.
Fire investigations, I don't know if people realize just how intense that can be. Sometimes it can be like finding a needle in a haystack. I mean, we saw how long it took for them to find, the Marshall Fire, and that's still a conversation as well. So talk a little bit about how this is so helpful. Every little tool that you have to help find the cause of a fire can be so beneficial for fire investigators.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no secret amongst, the investigators, and I always like to give the cops a little bit of a hard time that, our investigation work is a little bit harder than theirs, because the longer our scene goes, the more of that scene goes away. So yeah, obviously fire scenes all kind of look very similar. There's not a lot left. So, having a tool like this that can really help focus where our investigation is, really speeds up and gives us that advantage to focus our attention in a particular area, as opposed to just kind of trying to find that needle in a haystack.
Right.
Yeah.
I love that they have their little, like fire badges there on their collars. They're about 2.5, you said. How long are they K9 fire investigators for?
Typically 7 to 10 years.
Okay.
Right around that time
Then
frame.
what?
Then they just become a dog and be a household pet. And
Live a good life. And they live with you guys full time, right?
Yes, they do. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, Waffle and Ash are just absolutely adorable and very needed, obviously, here in Colorado. I know, buddy, you guys have both been so good. Thank you guys so much for coming in.
Absolutely.
I know it's really hard work what you do, and I appreciate you coming in and spotlighting these cuties.
Yes, thank you.
You guys
for
are all
having us.
done. I'm sure you might get a TREAT. I don't know if I can say that word. We'll be right back.